heavyweight title, 12 3-minute rounds. Just crucial for you to know, just reporting this, previously we've sanctioned all of Joseph's belts. This is just for the WBO Oriental heavyweight title. At this stage, could you please welcome Daniel Martz. So Daniel, you're the youngest fighter to face Joseph Parker. You've taken on 7 undefeated fighters in your, I think, 17 fight career, so you don't take easy fights. Why take this fight at this period of your life?
I think this is a great opportunity. I'm here to win the fight, and I'm here to further my career, and I'm ready to go.
Just explain to us about Alexander Povetkin, how you're a different fighter from earlier this year, going into camp against the mandatory challenger to Deontay Wilder, and how that has changed you as a fighter.
That was my first experience on a world-class level. I did very well with Povetkin. Everybody knows that Povetkin is the mandatory challenger for Wilder, and everybody thinks that he'll beat him. And I did very well against him.
So, coming out of that, does that give you particular confidence against a guy like Joseph Parker? Because, let's be honest, most New Zealanders think that Joseph will win this fight on Saturday night, and until you went with sparring with Povetkin, perhaps you probably deep down felt the same thing as well.
Yeah, before sparring with Povetkin, I kind of put these guys up on a pedestal, and I don't think that that's the way it is. I'm ready to go. I didn't come all the way over here to lose, and I think it's going to be a good fight on Saturday night.
Joseph obviously has extremely fast hands. You have a reputation as a bit of a mauler and a brawler. How do you counter someone with particularly fast hands? Because in 16 fights thus far, no one's been able to do it.
Well, I have a different fighting style than anyone he's faced. I'm more of a brawler, and I've got a few surprises for him on Saturday that I think everybody's going to enjoy the show.
So you have to fight dirty to beat him?
Yeah. Not dirty, but a rough fight.
All right. Joseph, if I'll just get you guys to stand here. Joseph Parker, if I get you to come and say a few words. You're expected to win this fight. However, I think we've seen at the weekend, and particularly with Ronda Rousey as well, that favourites don't always come out on top.
Firstly, thank you all for being here. I thank Burger King for backing me on my road to the title. It's good to be back from Vegas. It's always great to be back. So I'm feeling sharp, so I thought I'd dress sharp today. Everyone's saying that this should be a fight that I should win, but as Craig mentioned before, when Ronda Rousey expected to win, she lost. Klitschko expected to win, and he lost. So it just shows that anything can happen in the fighting game, and we just have to be prepared. And we're prepared as best we can. I've been doing a lot of sparring with Izu. He's got very long arms, and it's been very good sparring. I've been learning a lot of new things from my coach Kevin Barry, teaching me how to approach a fighter like Daniel Martz and what he brings. So what can I say? I'm ready. Let's get it on.
I probably put the words in his mouth, but he did suggest perhaps that he is going to try and rough you up, fight a bit dirty. Have you experienced that in your professional career before? I'm struggling to think of it.
Oh, me and Kevin, before we take any fight, we always sit down and watch the fighter and what we can find on YouTube. And me and Kevin have come up with a good game plan, a game plan that I know that if I execute, it'll be a good night. And I'm confident, and I know that what Kevin has taught me, if I do execute, it'll be, I'll be victorious on the night.
The interesting thing about that Klitschko fight was, though, that Tyson Fury deliberately went out of his way to unsettle Klitschko, and it worked. When you've been unsettled, I'm thinking about the Tupu fight, I'm thinking about the Nascimento fight, to a certain extent maybe the Williams fight as well, when he got you a couple of times, he sort of got you out of the zone as well. Is that something, Kevin, have you had to work on that? Because he can, on the brief times he has been rattled, we have seen vulnerability.
Stan, is fair point what you said, but let's remember each of those instances that you were just talking about were very early in Joe's career. Coming into 3 years as a professional, he is far more matured fighter now. We've ironed out a few of the kinks in his style. We've continually kept developing his lead patterns and his skill set. I'm actually very excited about this fight because it brings new challenges for us. For an opponent who's 6'8", we've worked on several new things in the gym, things that Joseph has to be able to execute moving forward if we're going to be competitive against some of the top guys in the heavyweight division. Because there's a lot of big men out there, and we set this plan in place at the end of last year where we knew we were going to be fighting tall opponents by the end of 2015, and we know Carly was 6'6", Daniel's a little under 6'8", so we're continually putting tall guys in front of him. The skills that we've added for this particular fight, Joe has executed very well in training and in sparring, and it just comes down now for him to do it in a fight situation. But with the weaknesses that you mentioned and a couple of little things, that was much earlier in Joe's career.
Okay, but you did mention that he got overexcited in that Carly fight.
I think when you bring the sort of firepower to the ring that Joseph Parker brings, sometimes he has a rush of blood to the head and lets a few more punches go than what I'd like to see him do. The Carly Meehan fight, I think if Joe was a little bit more patient, the fight would have ended in one round. Joe knows he made a couple of little mistakes in that fight, even though it was a terrific win and he was very explosive. We're looking for a very high standard of performance, and it's something that you've heard me say time and time again. We're not just in this for the wins. This is how we win and how we perform. I set several challenges to him in each and every fight that we have, and just as I had for this fight, and it's up to Joe on game day to put these things into practice. And this is how we continue to keep developing, to keep improving, and to keep moving up in the heavyweight division.
Just finally, Dan Raphael from ESPN rang me yesterday, obviously the most respected journo probably in boxing in America. It suggests to me that the public, the wider public, are a little bit more interested in this fight now that Tyson Fury is the world champion than perhaps they were this time last week.
Well, sure, I think it does add a little bit more interest for the simple fact that Tyson Fury is 6'9", Daniel's 6'8". Joe's name has been tossed around this year in a number of major boxing circles in the world. Time and time again, he's been compared with Anthony Joshua. Dan Raphael, as Stan has just said, the number one boxing reporter in the world, has been a big supporter of Joe's. He has tweeted often before and after Joe's fights. Joe's fights have been seen on ESPN this year. So, I think the fact that Tyson's a big man, Daniel's a big man, a lot of people will be anticipating and looking at Joe to what sort of performance he's going to put on against Daniel Martz. Look, I just want to add that this is our this is our fifth fight in 9 months, and there is no heavyweight in the world top 10 at the moment who has had 5 fights in 9 months. You can go right through to the Andy Ruiz has had 2, Bermain Stavern's had 1, Carlos Takem's had 3. Nobody has even come close to being as active except for Anthony Joshua, who at the moment has had 4, and he's fighting again next month. So it's very interesting that really Joe and Joshua have sort of are mirroring each other in more ways than one. You know, they're being compared together, and both guys are fighting 5 times this year. So it's something that hasn't gone unnoticed by the boxing writers and boxing reporters around the world.
Okay, guys, I think you do a stare down and keep an eye on the way. Just do it to start walking, just walking in. Just up, please. Yeah, you're looking at the camera. Good looking, guys. Thank you. That concludes the official part of the press conference. Now you can split off.